Hey guys, Adam Lobo here from Adam Lobo TV, and in this video, I'll answer all of your questions that you have asked me in my first impressions video, and I'll share with you everything that you need to know about the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE 5G after using it about 2 weeks or so, and I'll give you a definite answer on who this phone is for, so keep watching. Now, since I've already done the unboxing, let's dive into the specs of the phone. Now, the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE 5G comes with the Snapdragon 865 chipset with the Adreno 650 GPU, and in Malaysia, there's only the option of 8 gigs of RAM with 256 gigs of storage. Then it comes shipped with Android 10 with Samsung's One UI version 2.5. Now, the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE 5G has 5 colors for you guys to choose from here in Malaysia. The one which I have is called the Cloud Navy, which had a kind of a dark blue matte kind of finish. And it also comes in Cloud Lavender, Cloud Mint, Cloud White and Cloud Orange. So there's your answer on the exact variant that comes here in Malaysia, Kansas. Now, looking at the phone's design and build, it had a matte colored finish as mentioned earlier, which to me looks great even though it is made of plastic. It is also not a fingerprint magnet, so I don't have to keep on wiping off the phone most of the time. Then the rear cameras are placed towards the left with a quite small camera bump, where the overall design looks very similar to the camera array of the Note 20 series. And because of this small camera bump, it does not wobble when you're typing the phone on a surface. Now, the frames are made of aluminium and the front has a flat screen display with a hole punch right in the middle, which had a silver lining kind of design over there. Now, like I mentioned in my first impressions video, this is to probably distinguish between this phone and the flagship series, and it also comes with the in-display fingerprint sensor, which unlocks fast as expected. Now, looking at the phone spots and buttons, the volume rocker and the power button is available on the right. Then looking down below, there is the USB-C port, the SIM card or the micro SD card slot, where it uses a shared SIM card slot. Then on the right, there is one of the 2 stereo speakers, where the other is available on the earpiece area. As for the phone screen, the phone has a 6.5-inch Super AMOLED display with a resolution of 1080 by 2400 pixels with HDR10 certification. And what's nice is that Samsung has included the adaptive 120Hz refresh rate, which was usually available only for their flagship phones. So as expected, watching video content on the phone was perfect. Color accuracy was also nice, while some mid-range smartphones tend to oversaturate the image, especially for the AMOLED screens. But that was not the case for this phone, so yes, I would highly rate this phone when it comes to the screen quality. Now, looking at the phone's camera specs, the main lens is a 12-megapixel f1.8 aperture, 26mm wide lens, an 8-megapixel f2.4 73mm telephoto lens, and a 12-megapixel f2.2 ultra-wide-angle lens. Now, first looking at the regular shots, the colors were natural and high in detail. I honestly could not even tell whether or not it's coming from a mid-range smartphone or even a flagship, which of course is a huge plus for the phone. Now, the camera's zooming capabilities allows you to zoom up to 30 times with decently clear images when zoomed up to that. As for the portrait mode, again, the images look flagship material, as you guys can see over here, with an amazing shallow depth of field and background blur and great dynamic range at the background area. Then the ultra-wide-angle lens is still my #1 favorite compared to other smartphones that I've tested, with a perfect focal length with no distortion on the edges. And looking at the outdoor night shots were nice, which had a great balance of highlights and shadows, where most mid-range phones tend to overcompensate on the shadows to make it noisy, and that was not the case right here. Then as for the front camera, it uses a 32-megapixel f2.2 26mm wide lens. And then looking at the regular selfie mode, the image details were great with nice balance of the color temperature, as some photos tend to be a bit more warmer or cooler on some other smartphones, but the color temperature images here were right in the middle, allowing you better flexibility in post. Now, like the rear camera, the front camera also had amazing shallow depth of field in the portrait mode, but the skin does look a bit softer during this mode, so you might need to bump up on the sharpness if you want to in post, so keep that in mind. So there's your answer, Stephen Chong, as I personally did not find any differences in the image processing on the Snapdragon processor with the Exynos One, although it comes with two different GPU of the Mali and also the Adreno versions. As for video, there is no 8K recording like its elder brothers, so it records up to 4K 60 frames per second. Stabilization for the main lens was flagship material. Then there's a slight jitter when shooting videos on the ultra-wide angle lens, which I think could be a software glitch, which I'm sure will be fixed during a software update. But of course, there's a super steady mode for the rear camera as well. Then as for the front camera, it records at the same resolution, which is a huge plus as most mid-range smartphones tend to not give that high resolution video for the front camera, but Samsung kept it consistent since way back on the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE. Now, image stabilization were decent but very stable at 1080p, making it a perfect phone for vlogging and also Instagram stories. As for the phone's sound quality, keeping it consistent again, the phone comes with stereo speakers with Dolby Atmos tuning and support. Now the overall loudness were great at 89.3 dB with great clarity on the vocals and the low mids, and here is a quick sound test. Anyways, hope you guys are enjoying this video so far. If you're new and you like this kind of videos, don't forget to subscribe to Adam Lobo TV if you haven't done so. Now, in terms of the phone software, it comes shipped with Android 10 with Samsung's One UI version 2.5, which I've gotten to love more, especially with this new and improved version, as Samsung tends to improve very little details. And yes, as mentioned, with the 120Hz adaptive refresh rate, now using the phone daily when it comes to scrolling and multitasking were great, and I honestly can't tell a difference between using the Snapdragon processor and the Exynos ones. Now onto the phone's battery, it comes with 4500 mAh of battery with 25 watts fast charging with fast wireless charging up to 15 watts, which was interesting since the phone comes with a plastic bag, so good job Samsung. And on top of that, there's also the 4.5 watt reverse wireless charging. And based on my usage using the phone for over 2 weeks, I've got an average of close to 6 hours of screen on time when I was at 10% battery, which felt just nice for a phone with a high refresh rate and of course a Super AMOLED screen. Yes, you would get more from an IPS LCD display, but I'd rather have a better screen with 6 hours of screen on time. So there's your screen on time test, Maki Suna Mazlan. Now as for gaming, I had absolutely no complaints over here as gaming ran smoothly with no overheating issues, especially with the Snapdragon processor. Since the phone's build were nice and had a matte finish, the gaming experience on the phone felt really great indeed. So there's your answers, Eric Chow. So in conclusion, with all of this, the real question is, who is the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE 5G for? Well, here's the thing. Samsung is totally being dominant over the smartphone industry to not only tackling the entry level, the mid-range and the flagship market, but also giving you the options for the middle child of the smartphone world. I think that is a brilliant move for Samsung to come up with this FE edition for those of you who loves a flagship experience, who doesn't really require a glass back, prefer a flat screen display and appreciates the One UI experience, and most of all, a better after-sales service, which most other companies tend to fail at. So if all of this checks your boxes, then yes, this phone is for you. Now as for the phone's price here in Malaysia, the phone is going for 3,399 ringgit, and I'll leave links down below for you guys to get yourself one. Alright guys, with this, do let me know what you guys think of the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE 5G down at the comment section below. Would you guys get it? Aside from that, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to give this video a nice big thumbs up, like, share and subscribe to Adam Lobo TV if you haven't done so. My name is Adam Lobo, and I'll catch you guys in my next video.